Hello everybody and welcome to the Lake County PEG TV interview series with the supervisor candidates here in Lake County. And today I'm with Moke Simon. He's the District 1 supervisor and he's up for re-election. And Moke, I know that you were born and raised here in Lake County, but for the folks watching that don't know much about you, why don't you tell us a little bit about your background?
Well, Ed, I was, like you said, born and raised here, born in Redbud Hospital in 1972. I'm a Middletown Rancheria, Pomo of Indians of California, tribal member. I went to Mini Cannon in Middletown and also Middletown High School where I graduated. I played football and baseball. I was a pretty good athlete. As far as grades, I could have been a better student, but I was a good athlete. I always say that, and I've instilled that in my kids. But I was lucky enough to have a dream when I was a young man here. I wanted to play in the NFL, so when I worked my butt off, is what I would say. I went on and played at a junior college, Butte College. I went on to Texas A&M Kingsville, down in Kingsville, Texas. I was lucky enough to be a free agent with the Indianapolis Colts. I played over in the World Football League where I was the Scottish Claymore. We were the world champs in '96. And then also played some arena football and even did a little bit of the revived XFL that's happening now. I worked out for them also because I had some coaches. At the end of that career, I was asked to become the tribal leader for the Middletown Rancheria back in 1997. And I've been the leader there consistently over the tribe for many years, working with state and federal agencies on the tribal behalf. Proud to say, negotiating the '99 Compact. And so that started out kind of my political career on the tribal side. 2015, the Valley Fire hit, and we were incremental, I think, from the tribal standpoint of being a shelter and some other resources for the community. And at that time, a long-standing two-term individual, Jim Comstock, was stepping down as the Board of Supervisor, and at that point I decided to throw my hat in the ring and run for office. And that brings us to where we are right now.
Right.
And in that time also, I'm the defensive coordinator, high school football coach at Middletown High School, and I get to see every Friday night the youth and the hard work that's done through those programs throughout the county. So that's me, that's Moke Simon. If you haven't met me, give me a call or talk to me when you see me on the street.
Well, I know that one of the things that was really, I thought, impressive that happened with the Valley Fire was the way you opened up the casino facility to use as a shelter for people.
Absolutely. As a tribe, as a tribal nation, community-based is what we've always been. When I became leader of the tribe, we worked diligently to reach out to our surrounding community, our government, our sheriff department, our fire departments and everything to really have good communication and collaboration of what we were doing. Community-based relationships are very important as you're moving through. You being one of the individuals as a supervisor have reached out, and I'm proud to say, some of our expansion and stuff happened. One with our sewer project,
That's right.
which helped me work on, and also our turn lane with Caltrans,
That's right.
or another one. So I appreciate those. Those are good community relations. I think that's how government should work on behalf of the people to help growth and do things in the right way. So I want to thank you very much for that.
Well, that's right. That's the only way you get things done is
Absolutely, yes.
Well, you've been on the board now for over 3 years.
Yes.
Tell me, what do you see as the big issues facing the county these days, and what kind of things are you working on? And tell us about your current work as supervisor.
Current work as supervisor is constant, 7 days a week. It is, obviously you have the long-term policy that we're trying to set for the community, how we move forward. But what I enjoy, the part of the job, is really getting out and meeting with the people, going to the project sites, going to the problem sites, whether it's code enforcement, rebuilding homes. It's really going out and talking with people and understanding what problems they're having in really navigating the government system as they come to the county. Most of the stuff I've really worked on is rebuilding since the fires. Obviously, fire prevention, the risk reduction authority that was put together, the joint powers agreement with both the county and all the fire departments. That is one thing obviously very close to to my heart and many other folks here in Lake County who've been affected with fires. Also, the vegetation abatement ordinance. That was something that was not in place for the county, and we worked diligently to get that in. This is our second season to hopefully make our county a fire-safe county for everybody. Not only talking about vegetation abatement, but also house hardening, individual home ownership, different types of opportunities to look at for prescribed burns, alternative issues with whether it's goats, sheep, even cattle, maybe on some grazing opportunities. And so those are some of the things, obviously, that are at the forefront, I think, right now that we're dealing with that, and climate change, all being a part of that. And whether you believe it or not, it is something we're all experiencing here. And, if you're going to look at the science and where we're going, we really need to be cognizant of how we're moving forward in that.
Oh, yeah. Well, in my not so humble opinion, if you don't believe that the climate's changing, you got your head someplace where it oughtn't to be.
Yeah.
Look, we're in the middle of February. This is supposed to be raining.
It is a big concern right now. Most folks think of fire season being, not all year round, but prime example right now. If you go outside, if you have a burn permit, be responsible, have a water source around it. If there's wind, you should always be trying to pay attention to that. But those things are happening right now, and I agree. Climates are changing, and we need rain. We need rain seriously for Lake County this year. Yeah. Some of the other stuff that I came on board looking at was, I call them tiny homes, but it's square footage.
Oh, yeah.
And opportunities to work with community development. As soon as I came out, I saw a need for rebuilding certain parcels that have been burned in the fire. Let's just take for consideration Anderson Springs,
Right.
all the small little unique lots. Also Seigler Springs, up on the mountain, there was a couple other spots too that I think would really, benefit from smaller homes and square footage for single family homes. Mm-hmm. Help with home ownership also with the cost of rebuilding with folks that maybe not have had the insurance. So work diligently. It took a couple of years, but last year we approved the zoning ordinance where you could build a home down to 360 square feet.
Oh, wow.
12 feet wide. So we are allowing different types of homes to be built also, different materials, but different also sizes. I think it's down to 12 feet wide. You can bring it in, but it has to be on a foundation. So hopefully some manufactured and other, things will be happening as we rebuild. So I think good, very important stuff there on, how it's going to benefit folks building and investing in our community to buy in and have ownership, which I think is very important.
Now, since you brought up Anderson Springs,
Yes.
How's the sewer project going?
The sewer project is moving along.
Good.
I will not take Jan Coppinger, our special districts coordinator,
Right.
has been on top of it. I've attended many community meetings that she's had with Anderson Springs out there to talk with the folks as they move through the process. I know there will be some stuff coming up this year. Hopefully, they'll do some completion stuff, but like I said, I'll let Jan do those announcements.
Oh, yeah.
And she is moving right along. So the construction, there are some folks that are hooked up on the system already. They plan on having some extensive stuff completed by the end of the year.
Okay.
The grant was allowable to have, 100 people hooked up here in the initial beginnings, and I think she's pretty close to that number. But that'll be happening later on this year. So it's on track. It's on pace, and it is doing what it was supposed to do.
Yeah.
So not only Jan Coppinger, but there was some IHBG money, I think, ICDBG. Oh, I keep throwing the CDBG, man.
Yeah.
I keep throwing the Indian part on there, sorry.
That's okay.
CDBG money, and also I know that a couple of other state agencies had kicked in also on helping that project. It's a $12 million project, and it's going to be completed here on time and under budget.
Yeah. I want to say a good word for Jan. I've worked with her a little bit, and I think she's doing a great job. She was one of the main people that coordinated this consolidation of all those little water companies up there. That was a major accomplishment.
That was a great project, which we got here in the county. We got an award through LAFCO, and that project,
we won it
state
statewide.
award. That's phenomenal. So we have some, great directors up there that obviously after the fire saw some opportunities, and I think it'll continue on throughout the county to look at the smaller things like that if they can be consolidated. Sometimes that's a positive thing.
speaking of big projects, what can you tell me about the proposal out at Gwantak?
The Gwantak proposal is moving along. I know there was an environmental impact report. It should be coming out here. If it hasn't gone public, it should be going public pretty quick. The Maha Group, Lotus Land, who's building the project out there, they expect to build a couple hundred hotel rooms, have some housing. It's a very large project is what I would say. It's going to be a kind of a game changer in the county's aspect as far as it goes once it's built out. They're expecting when it's completed to have 400 to 500 employees, permanent employees that are going to be working.
Wow.
You know, but it is a large project. It is going to have kind of a farm stead aspect to it. It's going to have private housing and some development. It's going to have some boutique hotels. They're built into, you know, kind of into the environment. It is one large project. It's a 16,000 acre project. It's going to have polo fields, amphitheater. But it's going to be multiple years for that to go. But it is a large project that is being worked on right now.
Yeah, I know. I think it's the largest project I've heard of in Lake County that I can remember.
It might be the largest project in Northern. I have not heard of a 16,000 acre project.
That's huge.
For one development. And you know, it has a 18-hole golf course. A lot of this information, you know, obviously bringing out from their meetings with the Middletown Area Town Hall and some of their other scoping meetings that they've had with the community. But it is a very unique project in our backyard.
Yeah.
Here in Lake County, one of the most beautiful counties, and I always say this, no matter where I have the chance. I said it when the governor did his proclamation here, one of the greatest counties in Northern California.
You know, when I was younger, I kept trying to leave, and I never found any place I liked as well, so finally I just quit leaving.
You know, when I went away and did my thing, I was lucky enough to play in the NFL Europe, travel around the world, experience different cultures, you know, really take in the sites in Europe, you know, with just the infrastructure, the old buildings, you know, all that stuff is phenomenal to understand the cultures. But traveling the world, coming back to Lake County, when I drive through the county line, I'm home.
Yeah.
You know, it really is. You're home. No matter where you go, and being a supervisor, I've been to a place in this county that I hadn't been in my entire life. And I've met people that I hadn't interacted with before. But no matter where you go around this Great Lake, there are good people who have great hearts. Some are in struggle positions that we need to help to give them an opportunity and a hand up. But the overall nature of people in Lake County is unbelievable. And we've seen it in the fires.
Yeah.
We've seen it
So
through
true.
the disasters. And I couldn't be any prouder to be a resident of Lake County and to be able to really be a leader in Lake County.
Yeah. Well, speaking of being a leader, you've gotten in some interesting positions. You were appointed by the governor to a statewide commission, weren't you?
Statewide commission, State Board of Fire Services.
Okay.
And so the State Board of Fire Services, I think it's 13 people that kind of establish all the protocol procedures, trainings, certifications for all the fire departments, everything that has to do with fire services here. Matter of fact, I have my fourth meeting that I'm going to be attending this Thursday at the State Fire Marshal's office. And I couldn't be any prouder to represent Lake County. Now, there are 58 counties in the state of California.
Right.
Lake County has the one county rep on that board. That is me.
Oh,
That
so
is
you're
Lake
representing
County.
all the
I'm
counties?
representing all 58 counties.
Oh, great.
Sitting at that board. And so I couldn't be any prouder. And when I ran for office, it was to make sure that we brought attention to Lake County. And obviously I can do that because I'm a big guy when I'm in the room and I like to talk and, you know, you hear me no matter where you're at. But really to bring the focus on the struggles and where we want to go as a county, you need that help at the state level. You need that help from partners. And this is one small step, I think, in that direction to make sure that people are listening to where we're going. And if they don't want to listen to us, they better, because pretty soon they'll be following us.
Well, let's see. I'm going to change the subject.
Okay, go ahead.
Just for a second, because I'd like you to tell the folks about well, Lake County has a bunch of area plans, which are planning documents for the communities,
Yes.
the unincorporated towns around the county. And they're getting old and they need to be updated. And Lower Lakes Area Plan, which is near and dear to me because I live in the Lower Lake area. It's the oldest of them all. It goes back to 1988. So anyway, tell us about the updates on the plans and in particular Lower Lake.
So the area plans, obviously, like you said, are the vision of what the community would like. Stakeholders are the important ones that are going to drive how it looks in the unincorporated areas around the lake. So Lower Lake being the oldest one, 1988, and in my district, I have two, both the Milltown area plan and the Lower Lake area plan. Was needed to be updated, like you said. We've ran into some small issues down in South County from types of businesses that are coming in or types of operations they want to put in. So when we started looking at it and looking at the area plans that needed to be updated, it just made sense to start with the oldest one. Sure. There were some things in there that needed to be updated by technology and infrastructure needs. But it would allow really to give the folks in the area and the stakeholders an opportunity to really direct their vision over the next couple of decades. And hopefully we won't be in a situation as we move forward as leadership. We'll be updating these things more often. Right. Once we get this round completed. So I fought very hard because there's 5 supervisors. Everybody wants their district to be number one. But I just made common sense that being that it was the oldest one, it was in my district, that we fought hard to get that done. 2 others agreed with me on the board, and we started in that line. It is good. I know we need to do all the other ones, but starting with one and working from the oldest up, I think is going to benefit everybody because it's going to allow us to collaborate on that one, really be specific and concentrate on it. So if we can get done as soon as possible, but really to let everybody know it is not a quick process. It's a plan that needs to go through it. You yourself have gone through more than I have, but I know in researching it takes time, it takes effort, and it takes community input, and that always stretches things out.
Yeah, well, I just want to thank you for pushing the Lower Lake plan to be number one on behalf of the other folks besides me that live down there. It's important, and I may have a little bit of a bias because I was on the planning commission 8 years before I became supervisor. A lot of, most folks when they run for supervisor, this is just my experience, they don't have a big appreciation for what these land use documents are all about. Yeah. They don't really understand zoning, and that the idea of zoning is to protect your property rights and so forth. So anyway, I just want to say thanks. That to me was a big deal.
I definitely believe it was a big deal also. Yeah. That's why I fought hard for it. And like I said, we will work through the process, get everybody else's updated, being the chair of the board this year. But also when I ran for office, I ran for District 1 to be on the board, but I will go to any district and talk to anybody about anything. Obviously being respectful to the other supervisors, at least letting them know I may be in their district. But there have been many a times where I've sat in other parts of the, parts of the county and talked with folks, just in communication. I think that's one thing missing in government today is being able to sit down at your front table, whether you're having a meal with them or in your RV when you're struggling, after a fire burns, showing up on the property. And really letting them know that I'm not an official that's going to sit in an office. I'm going to come out and meet with you. If we can help you, we will. If we can't, then let's find someone that can. That can.
Well, I know that's one of the things that I appreciate also is that you're authentic. You're not a bureaucrat. You're just a real guy.
Yeah. Yeah, and that's what I ran up for office for.
Now, the lake is one of the biggest assets we have here in Lake County, and most of the nutrients that come in and feed the algae and the other plant life comes in through Middle Creek and through that area. And there's been a project going on where it's tried to get going for years and years and years to restore the wetlands in the Middle Creek area there by Upper Lake, which is nature's filter, to help stop those nutrients from getting in the lake and feeding all the algae and other plant life. So can you give us an update on where that Middle Creek Restoration Project's at?
So the Middle Creek Restoration Project, when I came on board, Cecilia Aguiar Curry had, worked with the Middle Creek Restoration folks that have been working on that, Dr. Lyons and a bunch of others that have been working in coordination with the board. They got $15 million to help purchase some of those properties. I know that is being worked on right now. I know they're currently out there, Water Resources and other folks are currently working on it. I know right now Bruno and EJ Crandall are meeting all the time to help make sure that is moving forward. There's always going to be some challenges as we go forward with that, but along with the $15 million in funding, we have the Blue Ribbon Committee that is set up in coordination with UC Davis and the other stakeholders here in the county. And there's monthly meetings that are happening. It involves everybody, including the tribal nations. And it's moving forward as quickly as it possibly can. There will be more funding that's needed down the road, but we need to expend the money that we have now and move forward with the long-term management plan for the lake. And that's all happening right now.
Cool. Wow. Well, I'm glad to hear that. So what do you see as our future? I mean, do you have a vision for where we're headed?
I got all kinds of visions. I like to say I'm a long-term thinker, but I think some of the interesting things we've done, the tourism improvement district that we pushed through, where the hotels, like ourselves and even the tribal nations, we've signed up to really look at rebranding who we are here in Lake County. We've done a great job of establishing the agricultural industry, but now we need to move on and look at how will we bring folks here with hotel development and other things to really come enjoy our place that we love so dearly for a weekend, 3-4 days, and then send them back to the Bay Area if they would like to go, collect their tax dollars and other things. So I think rebranding ourselves here in the county, I think is one of the big things that we need to look to on the future. I think we're moving in the right direction there. I think both what the county's doing, especially in all the unincorporated areas, and also Clear Lake and Lakeport. I think we have a good collaboration at this point. We don't always agree on everything, but moving in the direction of really telling our own story, I think is really catching on and going to be something that's important how we move forward. As we all know, right now in Northern California, we have probably some of the cheapest real estate for Bay Area folks to look at. And so what we need to do is make sure that we get the infrastructure in place, we get our area plans and our long-term vision put in there, and then we look and see how we can really drive the future of this county. Because it's going to be coming, and if we don't get ahead of it, which we are, it'll be bigger than we expect it to be before it happens.
That's right. If we don't take our vision and implement it, it'll just sort of happen to us.
Yes. And I don't like that to happen. I do not want to see that happen. So the area plans, the rebranding, what we're doing at county government, working on class and comp study and looking at retaining and recruiting more folks in the county. Those are all important things as we move forward here in this new decade, from 2020 to 2030.
And that's a big challenge right now.
Yes.
I imagine, I've thought about that. After the fires, there was so much property tax revenue that was lost. It really impacted the county as well as other local agencies. And to try to deal with that, it must be very challenging.
It is very challenging, but I know the groundwork was laid right off the bat. Reaching out to the state, I know that we got some property tax backfill from the state, fought very hard. I think there were 7 other counties that asked for it. Lake County and Butte County, we were the ones who got it.
Oh.
So keeping the focus on that was very important. And as we move forward, I think at the county level, as folks and projects and individuals building their homes are coming in, we've got to really work towards how do we get to yes when someone comes in and wants to do a project. Now, obviously, there are state and federal regulations we always want to be following, but how do we work an opportunity where we make it easier on the individual homeowners that want to do owner builds, or construction folks that want to do larger projects for housing and other things. So those are all things that we got to kind of balance. And I think we're moving in the right direction. as the chair, we had a workshop right after the beginning of the year to really talk about how do we get to yes when people come in. And it's going to be a work in progress, but we're going to slowly but surely take steps to hopefully make that happen.
So, Mo,
Yes.
let's talk about cannabis. What's happening?
So cannabis. When I ran for office, I made it very clear that that the voters said were going to vote for that, and we needed to get something in place. I'm a pro cannabis guy. As far as I do believe it's an opportunity for some folks to deal with some self-medication issues that they do with alcohol. That may help with some of those health issues that we have here locally in the county. When we have our health things done, obviously liver disease and some other stuff is definitely up there on the list of health problems. But I think there's a real opportunity to establish an industry here that could bring jobs and opportunities for folks that have been working and living in the black market here. It is a challenge. Since I've been on the board, we had 6 workshops the first year, or within 18 months, and we were able to work through a cultivation ordinance that is in place. We're still struggling really to establish it. It is still an industry that has a lot of stigmatism with it, a lot of not in my backyard stuff, but we've done a good job, I think, of trying to make it fit into our communities. And it is going to be here to stay, and we're going to continue to work on to try and develop it to make it a good market and really to knock out the black market as much as possible. Because at this point, with the state regulations and the county regulations, it is helping drive the black market a little bit, and we've really got to be able to establish the industry so we bring in those taxes so that we can fund the departments, code enforcement, sheriff's department, other places, so we can really get a legal industry going here in Lake County and brand ourselves. People have been growing it here for years, and if you think they haven't, you haven't been driving around in September or October.
That's right.
So I think it gives an opportunity to create a new economy and a workforce that has kind of been out there in the dark. And now hopefully it'll give people opportunities that may not be able to work in other industries, an opportunity to make a living and take care of their families.
Yeah. Another aspect of this is hemp. I understand that hemp is becoming quite popular for all sorts of purposes. I mean, the fiber, the seeds, all sorts of things. And it's related to the marijuana or the cannabis.
Yes.
But it's not the same. You don't smoke it to get high.
Yeah, it's got the CBD. It's got more of the medicinal qualities for it, as far as CBD. But yes, it is, and it is. It's not a Schedule I narcotic.
Right.
It's off the federal list. So
Right.
it is an opportunity for textiles, seeds, oils. If you look back, some of the first diesel that was made in this country was made from hemp. Some of the first Levi's people wore were made from the textile from hemp. So it's an opportunity, I think, for some of the smaller vineyards potentially to get into it, but also some of the folks that were growing cannabis, the smaller homegrown, small family operations that can't afford the onerous, ordinances and requirements that are in place right now for cannabis because it is still a Schedule I narcotic. So I think it's a unique opportunity. There's an ad hoc committee right now at the county board level. Bruno and Rob sit on that right now with the ag commissioner and some other folks from the industry, and they'll be bringing some things back for this season to talk about seed production, other stuff, how we move forward, how both industries can survive together and bring another small piece of the economy and another job opportunity for folks.
Right.
And so it's very interesting. We are diversifying, I think, here in Lake County, how we bring in different types of agriculture, and we will slowly do that, hopefully in the best way, where everybody can survive together.
Okay. Well, we're getting near the end. The timekeeper's giving me the signal. So, is there anything you'd like to tell the folks as we wind this up?
Well, yeah, obviously, Moke Simon, running for District 1 Supervisor. I've enjoyed the 3 years and the support I've got from all the county employees that have backed me up. I get to be the guy out here talking, but they're doing the hard work, and I will always give them the credit for that. But I'd like another opportunity at District 1. Vote for Moke. You can go to voteformoke.com. If you're looking for some information on me, but I am planning on being here for a few more years, and I hope I've done the work to deserve that. So that's pretty simple
Yep.
right now as far as the politic and stuff, but I truly enjoy being a Lake County resident. If you haven't seen me, if you want to have a conversation, doesn't matter where you live at, talk to me. I'm willing to talk about anything. I'm willing to understand. I'm willing to agree or disagree with you, and then just move on, because life is too short to hold on to things, and I don't take anything personally. So it's great to have an opportunity to represent the beautiful people of Lake County.
Okay, well, that's great. Thanks, Moke, I appreciate
All right,
you
Ed.
giving us
Thank you
the
very
interview.
much.